Welcome back to Heartfire Tales and Death One, the land of might, magic, and sorry, Jim, warning.
Jesus. Right into it.
Right into it. Sid, we're not going to give a recap here because I think if you're listening to this episode,
Probably listen to the others.
yeah, you know what's happened. And if you haven't, well, wow. Sid, you have just seen Monica pull from the wreckage of the last resort, and you're kind of seeing the shell of this building still kind of like smoldering and on fire, and you see that fire is also spread to some of the other buildings, but like, a lot of people are running around kind of trying to put out fires, and in the midst of all this chaos, like, the Hoots Force have only just fallen in the past less than a minute probably. And in the midst of all this chaos, you see Monica still in his enlarged form, reaching down into the rubble of the last resort and taking out the body of Con Greystone.
Stormzy! Get over here right now! Right now, Stormzy!
You see Stormzy runs over, or at least tries to run over. He looks very wounded and spent and haggard from his fight. Like, he just spent this entire time also fighting one of the Hoots Force by himself. And he rushes over and he sees the body of Con in Monica's hands, and he hears you crying out and screaming for him. And you see he kind of he wearily tries to pull together this like latent nature magic that's in the air that he was previously using to cast down lightning bolts and to summon like healing rain and stuff like that. And he tries to send out a healing word to Con, but of course nothing happens.
No, Stormzy! I've read some clerics can bring people back. He's crossing over to the other side. Stop him! Get him back!
Bruv, look, yeah, clerics can't do that, bruv. But the level of magic required in that, I don't have it in me. And even if I did, you need diamonds for that. And the last diamond I had, we used to close the portal back up in my cabin.
I kind of shake off his hand and I grab the long rest coffee from the Nadini out of my bag and just start dumping that basically onto Con's mouth. And I'm like, Con, no, get up, Con, get up right fucking now, Con, you promised me back with the Giants that you wouldn't leave me alone. You promised me you wouldn't leave me here. You wouldn't abandon me. Don't do this.
And as you kind of start your screaming, shouting at Con, you're still in the midst of all this turmoil. There's still people running and screaming from the last resort. The miasma that Maynard had put on people to make them see each other as Mr. Fishters has lapsed now, and everyone's kind of looking at each other worried. Everyone else is there's so many people also tending to wounded, some dead, and kind of in the middle of this is you're kind of beside, surrounded by the smoke of many fires. Melody comes up to you and they try to pull you away, and they're like, "Hey, look, Sid, come on, we need to."
No, Melody, you don't get it. The reason he's here is my fault. He was never gonna join a fucking band. I signed his name. I'm the one who signed that form. I made him come to this. He was trying to avenge his family, and now he's here.
Look, I saw what he did. I think Con knew what was going to happen when he went in there. Or at least he knew he was ready for it. I think he's been ready for a long time. If I had to guess.
Well, I'm not ready. Melody. You can't do this to me. No.
Look, there's nothing I can say. You can see that they're in shock as well, and they kind of also look down. Monica's now placed Con's body onto the ground, and they also just start weeping openly. I didn't even get to sing him the song I wrote about Marianne and Adom.
I can't deal with this. No. This isn't what was supposed to happen. All the stories are lies. Every story, every song, they're just lies.
You're emotional, Sid. I'm not going to rise to that. Look, Look. Okay, Sid. What would Khan want us to do right now? Right now, what would he want us to do? Look around you, look around you, Sid. Look around you. Look at all these people here. All these people are alive because of you, because of Khan. Okay?
Okay. Monica, can you at least take his body somewhere safe?
Yeah, I can bring to Giants if...
No. Let's keep him here. He deserves a warrior's funeral.
Okay, and you see he kind of just picks Hans up and kind of just like walks like the edge of town where there's like more room and away from kind of where the fight was.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is getting the rest of everything settled at the moment, because for one, it's distracting. Sid.
And Melody kind of like see that's what they're trying to like focus you into. It's like, okay, look, let's make a plan, Sid. Okay, let's just make a plan. Let's just try and get through this. Okay, let's look. There's fires to be put out. There's people to be tended to. Okay, I mean, like you have some potions. Let's, I still have a little bit of magic left. We can go around. We can make sure that no one else dies.
Fink's still in water form as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it allows Sid to go kind of into a comatose state of like just directing Fink towards something, and allows Fink to have a focus as well. To not think about it either. So that's what we're going to be focused on. And Sid's just going basically comatose otherwise.
Yeah, I think everyone in the town is like somewhat numb. There's still so many people who can't believe what's going on, believe that the Hoots force have actually attacked and were so brazen to even attempt to burn down the building or successfully burn down the building. After maybe 30, 40 minutes of kind of, you in this kind of like haze, bringing Fink around, water gunning down any of the fires, you see that Vanny and Aaron come up to you. Well, Sid, are you okay? Do you want, like, some of the guys got some tea here. Do you want a cup of tea?
No. I don't want any tea. I don't know what's in it.
It's just tea.
I appreciate it, Vanny. This isn't how the stories make everything sound.
Well,
the heroes are supposed to have glorious tales, not the first place they go to.
I guess the stories tell us what we want to hear. You're free to write whatever stories you want about Khan here and about his legacy, and I think for what it's worth, we'll like he's gonna live on through us, and through Hector here. And you see Hector's kind of like covered in soot. He's like in shock, but like kind of half crying. He's like, I mean, we owe everything to Khan.
How's the rest of the family doing?
At this point, you see Blake and Son also approach, and Son kind of like rushes over to you and gives you a hug. You see Blake is kind of like looking incredibly kind of conflicted about everything. Like he's kind of caught and doesn't know how to process anything. Like you can tell he's like incredibly overwhelmed by the sheer amount of emotions that are like running through the town. He's just kind of trying to, you see him kind of like just holding his head or like holding over his like ears as if he's trying to like block out the sounds of everything, but he can't.
Blake?
Yes.
You remember, Khan saw the best in you when no one else would. Nobody else would. You remember that each day. And you remember to live up to what he expected out of you.
I will. Did he half like kind of looks at you? Did Khan ever tell you of his loss?
He told me about Marion and Adam.
Look, maybe another time I'll tell you everything that I saw in his mind, but in the last moments, he finally felt peace knowing he had saved people as he himself was saved.
Well, I'm glad he went out with peace then.
even if it leaves the rest of us without it.
You see that, like, as you mentioned, like, other people's feelings and emotions, he again kind of gets, like, overwhelmed and kind of just, like, retreats back and, like, walks away, trying to, like, he's like, I need to go. I'm so edgy. I need to leave. And you see he kind of just, like, flees out of the town, trying to, again, like, following where like Monica had gone. And after another few minutes, Monica comes back in, kind of walking, looking for you, Sid, and gives you a big giant bow squat.
I try my best to squat back in the...
You no need squat. Okay, it's okay. I found this in Con's things. I can't read, but looks like letters and squiggles. Maybe you can read.
Okay.
And he hands you over just like a ripped out piece of paper, like kind of a crudely, as if it's like torn from a journal or something.
I'll try to make this brief. I don't know how long I have until Sid gets back. He's gone off to make our case with that Smith Morrissey. I have no doubt he'll be successful. Kid has a way with words, far more than I ever did. Gonna take a leaf from his book, though, and start writing down some thoughts before this battle. By the time he notices I've torn one out, I'm sure we'll be celebrating our victory. At least I hope we will. See, that's the thing. I've been in a lot of fights, and I gotta say, I'm not sure I like our odds for this one. I've seen these Hoots Force lads in action, outside Hovden. Couldn't remember it at first, but it's come back to me over the last little while. They're strong. A lot stronger than I think we're ready for. We've pulled in a lot of help, and I have a trick I think will give the villagers a fighting chance, but I'm still not overly confident. It took everything we had to stop Bellicor, and this wine-gum fella brushed him aside like a newborn kitten. Anyway, that's not to say we won't give it everything we've got. Everything dies if you hit it hard enough. Kid's got enough kick with that bow of his to see it done, if anyone does. I have a feeling that this situation might not afford us the chance to be as lenient as we usually are. I saw it in him when we were up against Blake. He was ready to kill him with that very first shot. I have to say I'm thankful that he won't hesitate in the fight, but I'm worried Sid isn't ready for it. He's a good kid, a kind kid. Killing someone seems opposed to who he is. I'll have to make sure to sit him down and talk through it after. Let him know that sometimes it's unavoidable, that sometimes you gotta deal with a few bad people so that a lot of good people can go on living. I have no doubt he'll be able to deal with it anyway. He's a good kid. He asked me just now if I was proud of him. Didn't pay it enough heed at the time, but I must remember to bring it back up. Maybe I can pretend to be drunk and say it, to save him the awkwardness. I am proud of him, even though I've only known him a little time. It feels like much longer. I haven't met anyone so willing to blindly help out, just for the sake of doing good, since Dikairos. I feel like, with Sid and Melody, I found a lot of something that I haven't had since then. It's a good feeling. I hope that I can do for Sid even a small bit of what Dikairos did for me. Anyway, better finish this up. I can see the kid coming out of the Smiths, and I don't want him to realize what I've done to his book. Anyway, on the off chance that you read this, Sid, I am proud of you, for what it's worth. Con.
Yeah, Sid's just gonna basically, being a teenager, take it with him and go into another room and just sit down in the corner and cry.
Yeah, you...
With Fink.
Yeah, you and Fink kind of... You know, Morrissey offers up his house and, like, you know, like a back room in his forge for you to go and compose yourself, basically, and take as much time as you need. All around you, what the audience would see, not what Sid's seeing, but kind of what's happening in the town, is you see Bretnock and all of the other people who had, like, sworn this oath of self with Con, all banding together, instantly trying to just help each other. You see that Johnny has come back into town, kind of like with the other merchants who had like carted people out of the town. You even see that Elvish comes down from Nadini with healing potions and herbs and things like that. That's been sent by Imelda to kind of give any help that they could offer. And as like night falls over the town, you see Bretnock and all the other veterans now meeting instead in the other inn in the town, pouring a drink out for each other and kind of leaving one empty on the table for Khan.
Sid's gonna find Blake wherever he is.
Yeah, you can probably like mentally reach out to Blake. He's still just at the outskirts of town still.
Blake, in all the time that you looked into the mourning of Khan and all his loss, especially with the loss of his, the Holy Thunder Force, the team he was with, how did they do their funerals? You had to have seen them.
You see that he beckons Son over, who you're going to get the feeling that they've not, they're trying to keep as close as possible to each other.
Yeah.
And he looks at Son and you can see kind of he might mind things with her. And she then shows an image of like a composite image of like loads of different like funerals that have happened that you would have seen. Because Khan had like fully just opened up his mind to Blake. So like he has a lot in there of him, and you see this kind of composite image of like loads of different kind of like highly like religious but militaristic funerals. A lot of kind of like words said to Lou that you maybe think might not be super appropriate now, but the core of it was that they would raise a pyre, burn bodies, usually kind of all together, to show that they're all comrades in arms, and you would see that they would form a ring around the pyre. They would all interlock their shields, and then you would have one person who would walk around who kind of hit each shield as they go, and then on the final one, they would hit it. All this blue lightning would arc around. Lightning would be called from the sky, ignite the pyre, and that would be kind of like the send off for him.
That's very cool. I'm not sure we can pull that off, but I'm gonna call over the military dudes.
I said, what's
before we leave? I mean, you all joined, the force with him. I think Khan deserves a funeral appropriate for what he did for his comrades in arms.
We can sort something out for the morning. Yeah, no problem. Is there? I mean, look, we all kind of served in the military up here in the north. There's probably a lot of similarities there. But if there's something specific you want, we can do it. Do you know what he had mentioned? He was in various different things, but he was kind of kept things close to his chest. He never really said what. He never told us what the name of his unit was or anything.
He was part of the Holy Thunder Force, and
you see at this like Bretnock kind of like his eyes just like shoot wide open. Like, kid, I know you're going through that, but are you sure? They're
no,
they all died a long time ago.
Well, apparently not all of them, but now they are.
Well, I guess we'll do what we can to. Yeah, like some of us have, fought alongside that. Some of them years and years ago, but yeah, we can do something. I'm sure Stormzy can help.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Sid has not slept in almost 48 hours now.
Yeah,
and is emotionally and physically just a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So with a very dark Irish goodbye, he's just gonna go off to his room and collapse.
You do that. In the morning, a funeral pyre is raised for Khan. You see that the veterans have actually worked just through the night and have stood vigil for him essentially and raised it. And you see Stormzy kind of does his best to imitate what that funeral ceremony looks like. And Melody kind of stands by you throughout the whole thing. Is there anything you before this happens? Is there anything you want to say? Any final words you have to? I know it's kind of a lot to just throw on you.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. So I'm going to walk forward to the thaumaturgy that Stormzy has set up, I'm guessing.
Sure, yeah.
To address the crowd. And so first, I want to thank everyone for coming out here. You were all incredibly important to Khan. To me, I was so excited to join a band. To Khan, this was about making the world the best place it could be. And you all mattered to him so much. And it's great to see that he matters to you all as well. Khan, we never asked you to be strong, but you made the rest of us stronger. We never asked you to be brave, but you made it so we could all sleep at night. We never asked you to fight for us, but you taught us how to fight for ourselves. I never asked you to be proud of me, but you still were. I never asked you to be a father to me, but you were the closest I ever fucking had to one. The emptiness you have left in my life by leaving me here, I don't know if I can ever forgive you for. But I loved the time we had together, and I love who I've become as a result of this. So now I'll be strong because you were. I'll be brave because you taught me to be. And I will fight because I know that someone needs to. And I will be someone that I know that you would be proud of. Goodbye, God. I hate this. Step back.
One by one, people who have only just met Khan also come up to share words. Johnny steps forward and kind of just like speaks not just to you, say, but kind of just the whole town. Well, I only knew Khan very briefly. We spent some time on the road. We shared a drink or two, but I've never known someone to have such an impact on not just one person. And he looks at you, Sid, but an entire fucking town is still standing because of him. He is united people. He's been an ultimate friend to giants. I was heard stories about some fucking mushroom man that he was maybe friends with, maybe enemies with. Still not quite sure on that one, but the fact that even people, even what we would say are monsters, speak well of him. And at this point, he kind of looks at Blake and Son and would defend him and do anything for him. I think that stands to his character and to his legacy. And he takes out his flask, swigs one down, throws a little bit onto the fire, walks away. You see like a single solitary tear from his eye. Fanny and Aaron come up, right? Well, if it wasn't for Con, our Hector here, and you see that Fanny is like almost death gripping Hector, like just so close to her. He Hector here wouldn't be alive, and so we've everything to owe to Con. It for what it's worth, and again, most of these people who are coming up are directing all of these directly at you, Sid. For what it's worth, I mean, that when we rebuild, it's not going to be the last resort. It's going to be the Greystone Inn.
Sid's going to cry at that too.
You see Hector being so young, he's still not like quite understanding everything that's going on, but he kind of like pipes up a little bit and has his like little wooden sword still, and he's like, I thought Con was real cool, and he taught me to use a sword, and I thought he was real strong when he saved us all. And then Vanny kind of like and I kind of bring him away, and then finally Marcy comes up. Well, Sid, I think you had the measure of him, and I speak for everyone that Con showed us what it is to be strong, what it is to give it your all and trust in yourself. And he looks around to Breathnock and to all the other like the veterans and stuff and all the other people who swore the oath of self. We swore with him, and he has shown us the strength. And if maybe we were stronger, we could have helped out more. And for that, we're sorry. But we are going to wield what strength we have as he wanted, as a blade. And we're going to be a shield, and we're going to defend this town. We're going to carry on his name and his legacy, and we're going to be a bastion for him, for what he wanted. I don't know if that helps you, but it's the least we can do, and it's what we're gonna focus on.
I think nothing else would honor his memory more than that. Sid loses his composure a bit and just kind of, for a second, just kind of collapses onto Melody, knowing that Melody is feeling the same way.
Yeah.
And pulls himself together a bit, and Melody, I think that Khan always loved your singing and your songs. If you have something you can sing, I think that would be great.
Yeah, you see Melody pulls out a guitar and plays a totally not... They play just a fantasy version of Dust in the Wind by Kansas.
Nice.
Yeah, everyone kind of like disperses, kind of leaves the two of you, alone and to it. I don't know, they go for lunch in Sloppy Joe's or something.
Yeah. Gonna go up to Monica. Be like, hey, Monica, it would mean a lot to me if I could take Khan's belt. It meant so much to him. He would not shut up about how proud he was to have that belt.
That belt's given to Khan. You, friend of Khan, that belt yours.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to take of Khan's possessions? Just loot the corpse here, Ryan.
I imagine, let's say, that was part of the normal thing to have stripped the body and wrapped it,
Yeah, sure.
Sid is now going to equip the sword onto his back.
Nice.
And the belt. And, since I'm a one-man team, I'm just going to go around town and get all the items back that we distributed to people and...
Sure, yeah.
And equip these things.
Yep. You gear yourself up.
But I am going to go up to Son and Blake and say, listen, and Melody as well. Gather the people together.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I need to get back to town.
Oh.
I mean, somberness aside, there are some really big things that have happened here. I mean, we just killed 3 members of the Hoots Force.
Yeah, we did that, right? That was a bit crazy.
Yeah, and Melody, I need to kind of observe on the road the impacts of the fact that I have fed. I don't think you saw that. I think.
Oh no, I saw that. It was terrifying.
Yeah. So I kind of need to observe that on the road and see what the impacts of that.
Yeah. I really gotta get back to Michaela and report this as well.
Oh yeah, I guess your new band's first endeavor, we murdered 3 members of the Hoots Force.
Yeah. Michaela kind of just asked us to go and ask Nini to move out of the area and see what was up with Stormzy. Things kind of escalated a bit, so yeah,
bit of an avalanche there.
Yeah, it was a bit of an avalanche. Kind of need to see what Michaela makes of this and what she wants to do about it. I also, yeah, I got to report back. I mean, look, we can. If you got to travel to town, I got to travel back to Ronar. We can travel together for a bit if you want, and then
split ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sunrise and Blake, I know you guys probably want to spend some time here with.
Sun like nods her head emphatically. Yeah.
But in the future, I don't know when. I'm probably going to need you all because town being town, I'm going to need to report this, but I'm going to need sources. And unfortunately, you all are a pretty big source for, what the Hoots Force has been doing. Now, I can promise you, Blake, don't worry. I mean, this is kind of like how my field works. We all the time have like animals and things like that we'll show for studies and things. And it is very easy to bring these in and say, these cannot be used for poking and prodding or anything like that. It's a visual source, and then it cannot be held by town. That's very easy paperwork to fill out.
I trust you, Sid, but
I know. And here's the thing. You can also trust Herman, who I know you haven't met, but he's my lead professor, and he's scarier than anyone I've ever met in my life, and he's going to be the same way. I mean,
okay.
in a very scientific way, he protects nature, and, you would be a very similar type source.
Just say the word. Send word here. We will be here with our family.
That's great. And I like hearing you use that term. It's a great thing to have.
Take care, Sid.
Yeah, you too. And yeah, with that, I'm going to head off. I know Stormzy can't really go to town. I've still got his thesis, so.
Yeah, Stormzy probably comes up to you at some point, maybe in like your preparation to leave town, and he's like, right, bruv, Sid, yeah, look, obviously I haven't gone up to my cabin, but kind of judging by previous Hoots Force activities, yeah, I would say none of my research is...
Yeah, I'd imagine I've got the only thing left.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to do here, yeah, but so that's super important, yeah.
Don't worry, you know where I grew up.
No, I know. Look, I'm gonna do what the Iron Circle have asked me to do here, yeah. But you get that research back. It's pretty fucking important, yeah.
Yeah.
There's stuff to be learned here. There's stuff to be learned. I think you got stuff from Blake and stuff, yeah. So
yeah,
you get studying. You figure out what's going on.
Yeah. First things first, stop by Herman and see what's going on.
So yeah, you leave Stone's Reach. You maybe travel down with Johnny for a bit. He can kind of he'll detour you, so there's a bit more of a. Well, actually, no. I'll let what does Sid do? What does Sid think the best way is? Would Sid kind of go through the wilderness and stuff, trusting in his own instincts, or would he prefer to go with people a little bit of the way? Melody will probably come with you for, at least as I said, until Ronar, which is on the way.
Yeah. Go part of the way with people, but also, I mean, I don't know if more Hoots Force are going to be, searching for me or anything. So we'll eventually go, but before into the wilderness, before parting ways with Melody, though. Hey, Melody, just wondering, before we part ways, would it be possible to borrow a guitar or something?
Yeah, of course.
Gonna have a lot of downtime, studying. And
you gotta learn to tell stories and sing songs, Sid? Kind of very testing the waters jive, like a joke at you.
Accurate ones.
Okay.
But yeah, then I'll continue on my way very stealthily.
Yeah, you head back to town. Kind of Melody says their goodbyes to you, and that it's very much like not a goodbye. It's a see you later. There's stuff that they need to go and sort out, stuff that you need to go sort out. But yeah, you eventually head back into town. Yeah, Ryan, describe to the audience what town is like.
All right. So when you're first approaching, it just looks like you're walking up to a mountain. From a distance away, you don't really see anything. It doesn't look like you're coming upon civilization. But as you get closer, you realize that your eyes kind of refocus. You realize there is a huge ornate structure carved right into the side of it. And this is the Grand Library of town.
carved right into the mountain, and a lot of the other buildings would be carved from stone as well. The people of town don't, they're a commune. There's not a lot of building their own things. They've got agreements with, the outside, like with the dwarves and things like that, to provide knowledge, reports and things like that and therefore get services from them. So a lot of these buildings will be carved and things like that. You'll see a weird amount of like gold in just strange places, like a gold pot just like sitting outside, a silver thing somewhere, more just being used practically, but like really expensive stuff, just kind of like in very strange places.
Like ornate, like silver and gem, like wind chimes and stuff? Or...
Yeah, not even like wind chimes, because that would be too like just fancy for the sake of it. But yeah, there's ornate stuff just like randomly strewn about, because these things were given as gifts from from other neighboring places, but there's not a currency in town. So these don't really hold any value any more than a metal one. They would actually be worth less. So use some gold for like a flower pot or something like that, not anything important. So that's a weird thing, like seeing around. Good amount of vegetation, and everywhere you go, it's quite clean, and everyone is in robes, where appropriate, as everyone is a scholar. Everyone has chosen to be here and is studying something. Everyone walking around with their books. People bumping into each other like you might see in modern days, but not looking at phones. They've got their heads in books and writing, as they're walking around. Very focused in their own little world as they're going. The houses themselves would be quite small. Nobody is very lavish or anything. Houses are asked to be built, based on the amount of children that the families plan on having, things like that. As a first stop before anything, get into town. Sid's a bit of a mama's boy. And he comes upon what would, based on everything else you've seen, be a house that is a bit larger than expected, knowing the fact that it's just Sid and his mother. So, kind of a mid-sized to larger house that he arrives at. And that's where I'm stopping first. Gonna go knock on the door.
Yeah, you knock on the door, and from inside you hear kind of like a lot of like hustling and bustling, and you hear kind of like a faint voice of like, now who on left one could be that? Who's calling here? Who's calling here? And you see then the door opens, and you're like, well, Sid, that you? What?
Hey, Mom.
Why are you here? What? It is way too early for you to be back. What's going on? What? You look like you've been traveling through the dirt for past months. What? Come on, get inside, Sid. Sid, get in. Come on.
Mom, I need to talk to you.
My boy. And she just like absolutely bear hugs you.
Yeah, we go inside. Mom, road's been tough.
It's not easy out there. It's not for everyone.
I joined a band. Had a really good band. We
Okay. That's good. That's good. And I think you kind of, you've always been talking about bands and how much you love them, and then, what you like to do and how you like to.
Mom, we saved an entire race of hill giants.
I mean, this is just getting better, but I kind of not really understand why you're.
We should have won a battle of the bands. We got second place. We saved an entire town, Mom. And the other member of my party just died, and I wasn't there to save him.
Oh, Sid. Okay. You sit down. I got a stew cooking. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna get you some food, get you comfortable, and you're gonna tell me all about him. All right?
Okay, Mom. Fuck the Hoots Force. Sorry.
I don't appreciate that language.
I know. Sorry. That's who killed him.
Okay. This is a lot. This is a lot here.
I know. I'm sorry, Mom.
But look, okay,
sit down and I'll just tell you the whole story.
You sit down. Okay, you're in my house now. You're gonna sit down. We're relax. You're gonna get yourself together. I'm gonna look after you. Okay, you're gonna get you some food. I'm gonna get you some tea. I'm gonna get you some nice water. Here, take this. I only got the shitty forks, and she hands you this like beautiful like jewel encrusted and gold like plate. Look, you just the other ones are kind of being washed, but you take this here. I'm gonna get you some food. I'm gonna I'm fixing some up at the moment, right? Excuse everything. It's kind of like a bit like a hurricane. It's just come rolling through, but I'm gonna fix you right up. All right.
For the listeners at home, Dylan is just literally doing my actual mother. Incredibly good impersonation.
Lana, this one's for you, okay? And she kind of like, you probably 20 or 30 times try to start speaking, and she just keeps rolling over you and just fully like mothers you, fully mothers Fink as well. And it's
I'm sure
like,
Fink is loving being back home.
yeah, like Fink has not stopped eating since he walked into the door. Okay, you got a full belly. You're in a safe place. You can tell me all about it.
Cool. So yeah, I take her through the past, 27 episodes.
Yeah.
And tell her all about Khan and everything like that. Then what's happened, and at the end of it, I say to her, after our conversation about that, I say, and Mom, one other weird thing happened.
Another weird thing. That's a lot of weird things going. I'm not sure how much I can take. When I sent you out in the world, when Herman said you're going to be, off doing your research thing, and like I've gone to do my research too, but like this is a big thing you gone doing.
Mom,
like,
listen though, I don't know. I really need your advice on this one though.
Okay.
So
I'm going to give you my advice on everything.
Don't
you know
be
that.
upset. I hadn't slept for like 36 hours at this point.
Okay. Well, first off, you know what I'm going to say there.
But you know how like when you're dreaming, the way things feel.
Do I know what it's like?
I
Come
know,
on, who are you talking to? You've been away for too long.
I could see another Fink, and I spoke to it, and he came out. And
Now, does this have anything to do with those mushrooms you were talking about?
Mom, no. I told you I was the only one that didn't want to take them. But anyway, Mom.
I mean, not to speak ill of the dead, but kind of, kind of sounded like a little bit of a bad influence on you there with that kind of thing.
I know. He was very similar to Fink in a lot of ways. But
okay, I'm not really sure how to feel about that. But I mean, Fink's all right, so I guess I'll let you play with it.
But I literally spoke to this other Fink. He came over and he literally like affected the real world. Like was able to fight with me,
okay,
like as a separate entity.
Okay, Sid. Look, you got to be careful with this. All right. Look, this happens. There's no big deal. Kind of.
What? How is this no big deal?
It's no big deal. It's it's a bit of a big deal. I'll be honest. Look, Sid, be careful with this. All right. Tell you what, you're gonna come. You're gonna train with me and the other dreamers now regularly. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Look,
Is that
what you saw there? That was the dreamscape. All right. It's not necessarily a safe space. You're vulnerable there. It's like a reflection of this world. It's why you saw another Fink.
what?
Yeah.
So that's not related to like the elemental thing with him.
Well, look, I'm not a natural science one like you or in the arcane. Well, I guess dreaming is a little arcane. We're kind of in the arcane school, but kind of a little side thing. But no, look, it's people. Some of our professors and stuff are not really sure what to call it. Some call it the ethereal plane. Some call it the astral plane. But basically, yeah, there's kind of like, I've talked to you. You probably learned some about this in your school. Like, back in the day, people would, dream to try and, see the future or see what's happening in other parts of the land. But it was never couldn't fully trust it because it's like a reflection of a reflection or something, But look, You're vulnerable there, and everything you told me about this Blake guy, this Edgy Frog,
I didn't know I could do any of this though.
Well, here's the thing: you can't yet, okay? But you could, if you've done this and you're kind of calling on little spirit finks and all that kind of stuff. Well, then you got it in you, but you got to be super careful, all right? As I said, it's like our world, but it's not quite. It's like there's a veil place across it, you got like a veil on your face and you can't fully see it, kind of distorts what you're seeing. And like you know, as a hunter, you gotta have all your senses about you, especially when you're in a new place, and that's that's gonna be real problematic if you don't know. If you gotta see what's going on, you imagine you're hunting with Herman now, and you got both your eyes closed. That's what you're doing in the dreamscape, all right? So you gotta open your eyes. This right now is about as new to you as the time you first picked up that bow and I gave you my axe.
Yeah.
And look, just don't go playing around with this.
Okay.
Willy nilly, all right? Back when I was much younger, we had a senior professor. Talk was that he was almost an elder. Why, he was at the forefront of dreaming, positing dreams are a mirror in which to see reflections of the waking world. Well, needless to say, he went mad. Said he just straight up mad. Yeah, just up and left one day about 40 years ago or so. I was still only a child then, when he started studies myself, but he was raving about things no one could understand, how everyone was all on top of each other like a triple-decker sandwich, but, it needed to be a smorgasbord, whatever that is. And then he just left. No one saw him again. Yeah.
Oh, Mom. Sorry. Along with that, something else to ask you. The Hoots Force. I know I told you a lot of things, but Maynard, that dude.
Oh, no, this guy I'm talking about, his name is Faust.
No, sorry. Oh, great. Good name. But no, Mom, I meant to say to you when I was telling you the story, I forgot about it, obviously, but Maynard said that he studied with you all, and he...
Maynard, huh?
He stole memories out of me and Khan at one point.
Well, that's just downright rude.
Is that like a thing? Like there's always like the rumors about that, but I didn't. Is that a thing you all can do?
You see that she looks like very kind of like uncomfortable at the moment, like you've brought up family business that no one likes to talk about from back in the day, kind of thing, Well, look, I wouldn't usually kind of tell you kind of stuff like this, but you've been through a lot, you've grown. Some dreamers can do that, kind of, as I said, we are technically in the arcane side of things. We kind of dabble in other realms.
Isn't that the opposite of what we do in town, though, Mom?
Well, I mean, it's knowledge, isn't it?
But it's removing knowledge.
You gotta look. See, town is, it's a simple place, but there's layers. All right, and sometimes you gotta, if you go talk to, the medicine people, they will say you gotta study disease so you can treat the disease. You gotta understand how bad things happen so you can work to prevent them. So, none of us do it. But there can be ways to, go into people's minds and do all sorts of jiggery pokery in there. It's, no good to anyone, but it can be done.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I feel like there's literally like a blank space in my brain.
Well, we can try to get that looked at. We can get that sorted for you. That's not impossible.
Thanks, Mom. I do feel a lot more calm. I need to go report to Herman.
Well, look, it's late now. Herman can talk in the morning. That's, you've been speaking. I would say if this were a podcast, this would be about, 30 hours long. So there's a lot to go through here in this one story that you've been sat down talking to me, all right? So, how about in the morning, you can go talk to Herman. But right now, you rest. Look, your room's still made up as always.
Of course. All right, thanks, Mom. Love you.
Yeah, love you too, kid.
I made Dylan say he loved me.
I've told you I love you before, Ryan.
Cool. So then go to sleep.
You go to sleep next morning. You go look for Herman?
Yeah, go out to the edge of the woods.
Yeah, it's morning time. You head out to the edge of the forest. You know that, in the library, in like the great library of town, there are loads of some of like the more like tenured professors and stuff would have rooms and lodgings and maybe at least offices and stuff in there. You've never once seen Herman in there.
No.
If you're to find Herman, he's he's in the forest, he's in the woods, he's
Herman
by
the
himself. He's Herman the Hermit. But you kind of like approach to, one of the clearings that he likes, and he would often tell you to meet him there for class, essentially.
Yeah.
And so you approach, and you see, kind of sitting on a log, facing the other way, this like hulking beast of a man that you recognize as Herman. He's like probably like 7'6" or something, like just he's not. There's no giant blood in him, and everyone is surprised at it. He's just a big guy. You approach, and even as stealthy as Sid is, and you probably kind of like fall into old habits of like trying to be as stealthy as possible now that you're in the woods. Like, he knows you're there. And sometimes like Herman just takes a while to acknowledge you. You remember like when you were training, he once made you just stand for 4 hours before acknowledging you. Just to teach you the patience of a hunter, And so you kind of just stand there. He kind of like, sometimes it just takes him a bit of time to like almost like psych himself up for talking to people. The silence doesn't last 4 hours. It only lasts about a couple of minutes. And eventually, without him looking up, you hear this voice like almost speak in your ear, as if he's somehow like projecting his voice in a way that's not going to startle anyone else around or any animals that are around. So, you're back, Gertie. What happened? And as he says that, he kind of finally turns around. You see like his huge frame like barely makes no noise. And you see that, he has like one good eye, the other is like has an eye patch over it, and like peeking out this like hunter's hood that he has on. And this one eye makes eye contact with you, and before you can respond, it's like, there it is. Can't mask the smell of death, kid. What can I do for you?
It's been a tough road there, Herman. But I am only back because I have things I need to report to you. And yeah, I didn't tell this to my mom, but yeah, I took blood, which is tough to deal with, but there's important things at hand. Who I killed was the Hoots Force. 3 members are now dead.
C takes another few minutes before responding, and he just says, worth it?
Absolutely. They are distorting nature, for one. They are destroying knowledge. They are erasing memories. And they are, I don't know what, with the elemental planes. They're not who they're supposed to be.
Proof?
The book. And I have sources. I don't have a thesis ready. Obviously, it's about 3 years before I thought I would be coming back.
Yep.
But needed to be reported. I also have Stormzy's accounts here, and I pull out the Stormzy's books. Stormzy, the mage, the cleric, has entrusted me with his source for me to report.
Strange times.
Yeah.
Full report, then we see. And so you give him the full scale. And kind of when you finished explaining everything, going through you're kind of slipping back into kind of that more, your telling of the story to your mom was obviously like about
The
personal and the emotional side. You kind of slip back into the facts and the reporting nature of it all, and you see Herman just goes, okay, go home. I speak with elders, and I'll let you know.
Also, your grandson's an asshole.
Yeah.
Glad you can tell.
And as you kind of leave, he kind of stops you again with one of those kind of like weird whispers in your ear that you're hearing. Is like, get studying.
Okay. Will do, sir.
And that is where we'll end this arc.
Oh. All right.
Of Heartfire Tales.
Good episode, guys.
When did you get here?
There's a ghost in the room. There's
Nothing
a ghost
personal,
in the room.
kid.
Yeah, Khan's dead.
Yeah, weird.
Gone Greystone.
Gone with the wind.
Yeah, in between episodes,
Gone
when I was
girl.
like, all right, so we're going to revivify, and Dylan was like, no. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Khan dead.
Khan's dead.
Con gone.
Khan gone.
Con girl. Wait, what?
I said that one already. Right?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Be more
God
present.
damn it, I'm in the episode now.
This whole episode, you've just not been present.
Just get for crying so much.
Fuck off.